Greetings. I am Jamie L. Capers with today's meditation. Today, I want to share with you from the thought, Answer God's Call. In Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 4 through 10, we find God calling Jeremiah to step forth into ministry. In verse 5, God says, "Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you a prophet to the nations." Remember, Jeremiah at this time is in line to be a priest, but now God is telling him that his role is to be a prophet. In essence, Jeremiah must not just be able to see the challenge, but the prosperous future God has for him and the people to whom he is being called to serve. Whenever God has a calling upon our lives, whenever God gives us an assignment or a vision, we must be able to envision the future. In other words, we must be able to see in our spirits the fulfillment of what God has given unto us. We must be able to see the manifestation of a great and prosperous future. Secondly, in verse 6, Jeremiah responded to God by saying, "I can't speak, for I am too young." However, God wants Jeremiah to embrace the possibilities. Notice God's response in verse 7. "Don't say I'm too young, for you must go wherever I send you and say whatever I tell you to say." Then in verse 8, God encourages Jeremiah not to be afraid because God was going to be with him as he ministered. And sometimes we are afraid, sometimes we are worried about the future or a task that has been given unto us. However, we must not succumb to them, but in the midst of it all, embrace the possibilities, embrace the potential, and embrace the opportunities. Finally, in verses 9 through 10, God touches the mouth of Jeremiah saying, "Look, I have put my words in your mouth." God goes on to tell Jeremiah he's being appointed to stand against nations and kingdoms. His job is to uproot, to tear down and destroy, but also to build up and to plant. Indeed, Jeremiah has an extremely difficult mission. However, by God touching his mouth and explaining his assignment, God is invigorating the mission for Jeremiah. God is giving life to the mission. And by doing so, God is giving the encouragement and the energy as well as empowering him for the mission. In our lives, God reveals our mission and stirs up our spirits for the task at hand. Remember 2 Timothy 1:16. "This is why I remind you to fan the flames, the spiritual gift God has given you when I laid my hands on you. For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but God has given us a spirit of power, love, self-discipline, and a sound mind." So in closing, there is a calling upon our lives, and we must answer. When we do, God will not only help us to envision the future and embrace the possibilities, but God will invigorate our mission. So I want to encourage you, answer God's call. God bless you and have a great day.